Well, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever you are. We are excited to have you join us today via this live stream. And if you couldn't, we want to just thank you for taking the time to watch it afterwards. Today's show is a very exciting one, at least exciting from the perspective that we are going to show at the end of the day that a book that more than 1.6 to 1.7 billion Muslims, basically followers of Islam, think and believe it is a book inspired by a God that they worship, when in fact today we are going to prove without a shadow of a doubt that it is actually a source from no other than Satan himself, evidenced by the fact that it has portions that were tainted by Satan, evidence from their own sources, meaning Islamic sources that we are going to bring to your attention and expose. We're talking about something called the Satanic Verses. And with me here, no other than our dear brother, Rob Christian, to join me in this effort to expose this. And I use his words, maybe once and for all, hopefully we want to bury this issue and help our Muslims, our Muslim friends and families to realize that there is no truth found in that book. The only truth is in Christ himself. Brother, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you, brother, for having me again. I'm really blessed to be here. It's an honor to be here with my dear brother, Al-Fadi from CIRA International. God bless you, your ministry, your family, your loved ones, and the audience who are watching. I hope that many people will invite and share the link to this live show, because the new evidence that we're going to present is so damaging. It's new material, guys, that I really have to share with everybody, with everyone. So I hope that many people will share this live show later or now, so that many Muslims can be helped. We need to help these people. We cannot save them because only God can, but we need to help them to show that Muhammad was, in the end, you don't like it, you like it, you don't like it. You have to deal with the fact that the Satanic Verses, that's the main topic of today, is a historical fact. It's an authentic story that no Muslim can refute. And today we're going to present the new material, and Lord willing, it will cause a huge chain reaction for many Muslims to leave this man-made cult.
Amen. And really, just a quick brief background. People, you can go and Google this. There is an author back in 1885, I think, give or take, William Weir. He's the one who coined this term, Satanic Verses. And the idea is this, that supposedly, according to the traditions, that Muhammad claimed that he has received revelation endorsing the worship of three idol goddesses, Al-Lat, Al-Uzza, or Manat. And on account of this, his tribe, Quraysh, was really touched by this, realizing now that the God of Muhammad accepts their goddesses, and therefore they were willing now to unite with him, or at least endorse his religion, given the fact that the worship of their idol or their goddesses is basically permitted. And the idea in the Quran was that these goddesses can continue to intercede on behalf of the pagan, the idolaters, because usually the worship of idolatry means that you're worshiping a deity through this rock or through this idol or whatever shape it is. And somehow Muhammad endorsed that. Then later Muhammad recanted that and says, no, it was Satan actually who made me think that it was Gabriel who was revealing this verse to me, but I was rebuked by Gabriel, and now I have to make modifications to this. And this is, of course, found in the Quran. And on account of this came other revelations stating that Satan does this to all other prophets, and that God can clean up the mess, and he knows best. I don't know how he knows best when Satan can actually trump his word anyway. All that to say, this is the background story. This is the traditional story, reported, by the way, in a number of biography, reported by Al-Waqidi, reported by Ibn Ishaq, reported by Ibn Sa'd, among also other names like Al-Tabari. But today we're going to show some of the new movements, the modern movement and views that are trying to distance themselves, as always, of course, from these kind of stories. And in some account, which I'll let Rob deal with it, they try to even redefine certain terms. What a surprise, obviously. So it's the miracle of reinterpretation, as David Wood, may peace be upon him, would say. All that to say is that this is the background story, and now I'm going to let Rob take us through a journey of how we're going to decimate both the traditional story and even the attempt to try to cover up that. Go ahead, brother.
Thank you, brother. If it's okay for me to share my screen and so that people
Absolutely.
can see
I'll share
my
it for you
side
right now.
Yeah,
Here
perfect.
it is.
Again, everybody who just joined, welcome. God bless you. Again, brother Al-Fadi, God bless your ministry. Thank you for having me. This is going to be another opportunity to present our new evidence, the new evidence that I found in the Arabic Muslim books. And it's a blessing to have also brother Al-Fadi here, so he can confirm what is will be shown on the screen from the Islamic books, because most books, don't forget, most books are still not translated. And Lord willing, if the Lord wills, if our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ wills, he want me to continue what I'm doing, I'm going to do more damage in the future. As more we have time, the more we can do this. And if the Lord wills, I can do this full-time ministry, then I will take a bigger dive in the Islamic books. And Lord willing, we can find many more damaging new evidence that we can share on the World Wide Web. So again, thank you for having me, brother. God bless you. And let us do this. As you see on the screen, the question of today is, or the topic of today is, the $1 million question. Are the Satanic Verses incident, is it a fake story? Is it a fabrication? Or is it a real, authentic, historical event in the life of the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad? So let us start. Without further ado, let us start. Everybody must have heard by now of the guy who wrote a book which became one of the bestsellers back in the 80s. Correct me if I'm wrong, brother. Salman Rushdie. Salman Rushdie made a comment, and he said, a quote, and I quote, he said, Prophet Muhammad would have no objection to the Satanic Verses. Meaning, if Muhammad would be alive today, he would have not objected against it, because it is an authentic story that happened, an authentic incident that happened in the life of Muhammad. But modern Muslims today, modern Muslims are too ashamed. They understand the consequences of such a disaster that happened in the life of Muhammad. And the only thing they can do is do all kind of mental gymnastics or cover up, right, to say that is nothing but a fabrication. But today we have proof, Lord willing, we can present the proof, the evidence that I found for everybody to see. And I really want to ask everybody to share today's live show. Let it go viral, all for the glory of Christ. So this is an introduction, guys. Let us start with the classical scholars. And the other day, I had a conversation on Skype with brother Sam Shamoun. And he said, please, I want you to do live shows or videos about what the classical scholars say. And you'll see today, guys, I don't need the classical scholars. I mean, Ibn Taymiyyah, Sheikh al-Islam himself, the Ibn Taymiyyah that, for example, the Salafi Muslims, they call him their Sheikh. He's Sheikh, Fadilat al-Sheikh, Sheikh al-Islam, Ibn Taymiyyah. So this guy,
yeah, he's the clerk. Yeah. He's the head kahuna for the religion. Sheikh al-Islam is a big title.
Exactly. He's huge, guys. You have no idea how important Ibn Taymiyyah is in Islam. He's basically, if I'm not mistaken, he's the teacher of Ibn Kathir, right, brother Al-Fadi? He was the teacher.
Ibn Kathir, and also a number of other reputable scholars, for instance.
All right. So what did Ibn Taymiyyah, a giant of Islam, what did he say about the Satanic Verses? What did he say? And what do modern people like Sheikh Al-Albani that you see here, who became famous, a modern scholar of today, right? Who basically died recently. Let us call it recently. He was against it, and he called it a fabrication, right? So the classical scholars like Ibn Taymiyyah, he believed in the authenticity of the Satanic verses. He believed that it was a fact in the life of Muhammad. It happened. But modern scholars who are too ashamed about the idea that Muhammad delivered satanic verses that he got from Satan himself. That very day, Muhammad became the prophet of Satan, delivering satanic verses. And how did the satanic verses, how did he presented them to the Meccans, the Quraysh, the pagans who worshipped idols? He told them, تلك الغرانيق العلا إن شفاعتهن لترتجى. These are the high exalted cranes, meaning the bird idols, Al-Lat, Al-Uzza, wal-Manat, and their intercession is hoped for. And as the brother already mentioned, when the Quraysh, the Meccan Quraysh, the tribe of Muhammad himself, when they heard these beautiful words about their idols, they loved Muhammad for it, and they were happy and pleased with Muhammad. Look, Muhammad is saying beautiful stuff about our idols. Thank you, Muhammad. And Muhammad bowed down, he prostrated, he did sujood. All the pagans did sujood, prostration, and active worship, and all the Muslims who were there. And if you go to Sahih al-Bukhari, you will see even that the jinn did the same. So everybody that day became a mushrik, right? Became an idol worshipper. So modern Muslims like Al-Albani, they call it a fabrication. But today you will see that he's nothing but a liar. And today, yeah, the guy is already dead. But I'm going to end his career anyway. And I have the evidence today. And God forbid, I'm not trying to brag, guys, but that's what I found today. And I need to share this with everybody on the World Wide Web. And I want everybody, please, for the love of Christ, please share this video. It must go viral. Here's what Ibn Taymiyyah, a classical scholar that we mentioned in the beginning, here's what he said. This is the classical scholar. This is Sheikh al-Islam, the giant himself. Look what he said. Ibn Taymiyyah, against the majoritarian opinion of the scholars of this day, so against the modern scholars like Al-Albani and Fifi and all these people who claim to be scholars, he actually accepted the historicity of the Satanic verses. Do you see? So Ibn Taymiyyah believed in it. But the two embarrassed Muslims, the modern Muslims of today, they call it a fabrication. So Ibn Taymiyyah accepted it as something wholly consonant, sorry if I'm butchering the English, guys, with Muhammad's status and mission as the messenger of Allah. Ibn Taymiyyah asserted that belief in the incident was the position of the early Muslims, the Salaf, right? The Salaf, the early Muslims, and thus the original and authentic truth of the incident called the Satanic Verses. And you can find this information in the book of Shahab Ahmad, Ibn Taymiyyah. The book is called Ibn Taymiyyah and the Satanic Verses, written in the year 1998, page 122. So that's what Ibn Taymiyyah believed. He believed that the Satanic Verses were a historical fact. So if one of the giant believed that it's a fact, a classical giant, what about the liars today who are too embarrassed about it? Here is another giant. Now, brother, can you tell us who Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani is?
Well, I mean, he's one of those Islamic scholars that are extremely approved of and accepted, and he has to do with hadith also.
Yeah, indeed. Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, guys, I made a video about him, and I exposed him because he's the one who made the hadith famous about the adult breastfeeding.
Yeah, and he's the one who handled Al-Bukhari, basically. He worked on Al-Bukhari collection.
Exactly. He wrote Fath al-Bari fi Sharh Sahih al-Bukhari, meaning the commentary, the huge, famous commentary, multi-volume collection, right? That Sahih al-Bukhari wrote. He wrote also a huge book about it, basically multi-volume, and he was explaining Sahih al-Bukhari. But Ibn Hajar is another scumbag who I recently exposed, Brother Al-Fadi, for making a rejected, fabricated hadith by Al-Waqidi. Because remember, Al-Waqidi is considered to be a fabricator and liar in the Sunni world. So Ibn Hajar is another scumbag, another hypocrite. But anyway, this guy who Muslims consider to be a giant, look what he said about the Satanic Verses. Ibn Hajar, the Ibn Hajar, another Shaykh al-Islam, he recognized the authority on traditions, insists on the truth of this report, and says, and I quote, Ibn Hajar said, as we have mentioned above, 3 of its chains of narrators satisfy the conditions required for an authentic report. Do you see it? So Ibn Hajar believed that the Satanic verses were 100% historical fact in the life of Muhammad. And this is, you can see on the bottom of the screen, you can see the source.
And here's what I want to say. I mean, I want to remind people of this. Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani basically studied a collection by Bukhari that was written 240 years after the time of Muhammad. So he came after that and still endorsed it, which means the knowledge about the story lasted for at least a couple of hundred years. It was acceptable, it was endorsed, and it was considered to be authentic. So I laugh when I hear modern Islamic scholar wants to deny now everything that happened in the beginning, which basically, by their own admission, like Al-Albani, everything was a lie, and now somehow received an enlightenment to correct the mistakes.
So basically, you can say, Brother Al-Fadi, that's what Brother Al-Fadi is also confirming. Modern Muslims or modern Muslim scholars today, they have to call their giants of Islam, like Ibn Taymiyyah. We showed you Ibn Taymiyyah. We are showing you now Ibn Hajar on the screen. They have to call the old school scholars the daddies of Islam. They call them liars and deceivers. Can you imagine? They throw Ibn Hajar, they throw Ibn Taymiyyah under the bus just to tell you, well, the Satanic Verses is a fabrication. So in the end, who should we believe? The modern young boys of today like Al-Albani, or someone like Ibn Hajar and Ibn Taymiyyah? Do you want to add something on top of this, brother, before I continue?
Oh, no, brother. Keep going. You're doing a great job.
All right. So that's what the classical scholars used to believe, guys, right? As an introduction. That's what the classical scholars used to believe. They believed that the Satanic Verses was authentic. They had no issues with it. Even Muhammad, if he would have been alive today, Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, would have no objection against the Satanic Verses incident that happened with him and Satan delivering the Satanic Verses on his tongue, telling him to give that to the people. Muhammad not knowing the difference between Allah and Satan, not knowing the difference between Satanic revelation and the Quran. And he gave the Quraysh, تِلْكَ الْغَرَانِيقَ الْعُلَى وَإِنَّ شَفَاعَتَهُنَّ لَتُرْتَجَى. These are the exalted high cranes, the bird idols, and their intercession is hoped for. All right, let us continue. Now, a lot of people don't know that there are at least 2 satanic incidents that happened in the life of Muhammad. 2, guys, and I don't want you to confuse those 2 with, let's say, the black magic spell that was cast on Muhammad because some guy, some enemy of Muhammad, plucked a hair out of his comb and he cast a black spell. That's a different topic. I'm talking about the Satanic Verses. There were 2, but the number 1 that you see here on the screen is the most famous one. And a lot of Muslims don't know about the second one. But today, my live show, maybe we can do that later in the future, brother. But today is about the first one. So when Muhammad was reading Surah An-Najm, which is chapter 53, Surah An-Najm, Satan comes in between and he gives him the Satanic Verses, right? This is the most famous one, as you see. But there is a second one, and I made a video about it. Maybe we can do another show about it, brother. But the second one is when Muhammad was reading Surah Ar-Rum. Many people don't know about this incident, but Lord willing, we can make this one famous too. So 2 different incidents that happened in the life of Muhammad. Let us today only focus on the most famous one, the most well-known one, Surah An-Najm, right? When Muhammad was reciting Surah An-Najm, which is chapter 53, Satan comes in between and delivers or give the Satanic Verses on his tongue, and Muhammad delivers the Satanic Verses to the Quraysh of Mecca, the pagans, when they were really happy when they heard Muhammad saying beautiful stuff about their idols. Now, guys, focus on number 1, which is Surah An-Najm incident. Now, as a information, right? Who that Satan was? Who was that? What did Satan do with Muhammad? How did he look like? If we go to a book like this one, this is فتح البيان في مقاصد القرآن, right? فتح البيان, and this is the book that you see here. You can download this book. You can find it on the internet. And here is a part of the book. Let me scroll up. You will see here. What is the page number, brother? 375, right? Just
Yes.
to confirm.
375, exactly.
375, guys. 375 of this book that you see here. Just to understand what was happening with Muhammad. If we scroll down, and our brother, he can confirm. Maybe you want to read it and translate, brother? This
So
part
I'm going to read the underline, which is based on Surah Ash-Shu'ara, verse 210. I'm going to read in Arabic. قال عطاء يريد بالشيطان الشيطان الأبيض الذي كان يأتي النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم في صورة جبريل يريد أن يفتنه. So a person by the name Ata says that the intent here in this verse, which says وَمَا تَنَزَّلَتْ بِهِ الشَّيَاطِينَ, meaning the Satan or the demons did not really cast it down, meaning the Quran. The intent here is saying it was reference to the white Satan. Somebody was known as the Shaitan. Yeah.
Did you catch it, guys?
Yeah.
So Muhammad was getting he was being visited by Satan, right? That was basically coming to Muhammad. This white fellow, look at this cute Satan, brother.
Yeah,
cute
and
white
brother,
Satan, right? Yeah.
I want to emphasize something. He's described as the white one or white Satan who was masquerading as Gabriel. Long and behold, Paul was inspired to say exactly the same thing about Satan in 2 Corinthians 11, 13, and 14, that Satan can masquerade as the angel of light. White, get it?
Yes, exactly. Perfect. So, in other words, again, guys, just for you to understand, Satan himself, and he had a nickname, he was called the White One. The White One, Satan himself, used to come to Muhammad in the shape of Jibreel. So this Satan, this demon, could shapeshift and make himself look like Jibreel. And Muhammad had no idea, no clue that this was Satan, not Jibreel. So this is what the Islamic books are saying. The White One, Al-Abyad, used to come in the shape of Jibreel and giving him satanic verses. And as a reaction, Allah himself in the Quran, we don't believe there's something called Allah, but it's Muhammad. As you know, as a defense, we can go, for example, to chapter 22, Surah Al-Hajj, that is on the screen, ayah 52. Look what it says. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ مِنْ رَسُولٍ وَلَا نَبِيٍّ إِلَّا إِذَا تَمَنَّى أَلْقَى الشَّيْطَانُ فِي أُمْنِيَّتِهِ فَيَنْسَخُ اللَّهُ مَا يُلْقِي الشَّيْطَانُ. What does that mean? If we go to the translation, you will understand that Muhammad, because he knew he got busted, he knew that he delivered satanic verses. He delivered the satanic verses from Satan to the pagans. Look what the argument of Muhammad was in the Quran. So Muhammad had to defend himself because he got busted. Look what he says. And all the noble messengers or prophets whom we sent before you, it occurred with all of them. So Muhammad needs to lie about Abraham. He needs to lie about Jesus. He needs to lie about all the prophets, supposedly, because it happened to him. So all of them fell for the tricks of Satan. That's what Muhammad is saying in his Quran. Lying, of course, this is nothing but a lie. Muhammad was the only one, and Allah was sleeping. Allah was too tired to protect him from Satan. That whenever the messengers recited the message, let's say the Torah, the Injil, the Quran, the Zabur, whatever, the Quran, Satan included a bit from his own speech, satanic verses, in their recitation on their tongues, like Muhammad, to the people. So Allah then abrogates what Satan included.
Yeah, brother. Let me just ask you a quick question. There are some people here that are asking if this book by Al-Albani is available in English. I did find a site that was going through the book in English. Is it available in English? Are you aware of that?
Not that I know of. No, I
Okay.
have only the
All right.
Arabic version, and I can
Yeah.
share the link to the Arabic version, but that's it.
That's fine. I'm
I
sorry,
haven't. Yeah,
folks. This is why you cannot qualify to deal with Muslims, because you do not speak Arabic. And the
yeah,
Muslims, here's the deal, they do not know how to read the Arabic. So don't worry. Both of you will be just fine. We'll try to find it to you in English. I'll send a link to the source that I was referring to as well right now. I'll put it right here. Keep going, brother.
yeah. So you see, the Quran is actually confirming the Satanic verses, because here Muhammad is in defense mode. He's basically saying, yeah, I know that I delivered the Satanic verses. That's what we can give a summary, right? A summary. But it did not only happen to me; it happened to all the prophets of Allah. Do you see it? It happened to all of them. Whenever they want to deliver a message, let's say the Quran, let's say the Injil, the Torah, the Zabur, the Psalms, Satan always come in between. So do you see, guys? Do you have any idea now how powerful Satan is in Islam? He could influence all the prophets of Allah, and only in Islam, as you see. Only in Islam, Muhammad is getting confused by Satan. Muhammad could not handle Satan. Muhammad could not know the difference between Jibreel and Satan, not know the difference between the Satanic verses and the Quran. And Muhammad, like the scholars of today, right, is in defense mode, and he needs to give his argument. All right. Yeah, I know it happened to me, but it happened to all the prophets. So he is not only in defense mode, he also needs to lie about all the prophets. Brother, do you want to add something?
Not at all, brother. Keep going. If I see something that is really, really, interesting that I can make a comment on, I'll let you know. No problem. Keep going, brother.
All right. So the Quran actually confirms the Satanic verses, and Muslims need to lie about it. So let us continue. Let us continue. So here are some issues, guys. Here are some issues. Modern Muslims today are too embarrassed and simply won't accept the fact that Muhammad delivered Satanic verses. Or else Muslims have to deal with the damaging contradiction in the Quran. What is that contradiction? Allah in the Quran says to Satan, and it's on the screen, in chapter 15 of the Quran, ayah 42, you, Satan, will have no power over my servants, i.e., his prophets, including Muhammad, only over the ones who go astray and follow you. So if basically the argument is this, if Muhammad delivered Satanic verses, if Muhammad became the prophet of Satan at that very moment, that means Muhammad is went astray. If Muhammad is astray, all the Muslims go astray, right? Because without Muhammad, there is no Islam. Without Muhammad, there are no Muslims. So how can they accept it? I understand them. Guys, I understand why Muslims have to reject the idea that Muhammad was tricked by Satan and he delivered the Satanic verses, the Gharaniq, right? تلك الغرانيق العلا إن شفاعتهن لا ترتجى. So the Muslims are in trouble. I understand that, because we have a huge contradiction in the Quran here, right? So they have to deny it. Modern Muslims today have to deny it because they know Muhammad had created a huge problem, a huge dilemma for them, right? They know. And I understand them why they are so triggered when we bring up this topic. Now, here's the Muslim main argument, guys, to explain away, just to explain it away. Away, brother, we don't like it. Let us explain away this disaster, which is the Satanic verses incident in the life of their Prophet Muhammad. How many times have you heard? Well, brother, the hadith is fabricated. Brother, no, the hadith is da'if. Even if it's sahih, it's da'if. The hadith is mursal. The hadith is mursal. So anything that embarrasses their prophet, they have to reject it. Even if it's the best of the best of hadith, or even if it's a Quranic ayah, they will say, no, it's not. It doesn't say that, RC. It doesn't say that, Al-Fadi, right? So, brother, especially the last part, the hadith is mursal. Can you explain to the audience what a mursal hadith is, brother?
Absolutely. So, mursal hadith, basically, let's talk about it this way. If you have a hadith, there is something called isnad, chain of narrations, meaning the people who are reporting it to each other. Technically speaking, a strong case can be made when Muhammad said something and a companion reported it first to someone else, and then it goes from there. But sometimes you have hadith where there is a link that is missing. And in this case, it is a companion that is missing. So in other words, one of the followers of the companions would say, I heard, or Muhammad said so and so, but you have no proof that a companion is the one who heard it. So that's why they try to have, try to find holes in things like this, based on convenience. If the hadith is not really good for the case of Muhammad or the Quran, they're going to try to use this as a loophole. But if it is amazingly something good that Muslims can benefit from, somehow it's okay that it's mursal. So it's kind of interesting, really, how they look at things like this. It's almost like you're saying Justin Martyr says that Jesus said this, when you're saying, well, Justin Martyr wasn't living at the time of Jesus, or at least did not meet Jesus. How did he know? That's what they're trying to say.
Exactly. So now you'll have an idea why they call it this, especially. And I already was talking about this with our brother before we started. Actually, the Satanic Verses, guys, the Satanic Verses incident, and please focus, guys, don't allow anyone to distract you in the live chat. The Satanic Verses incident has around 5 mursal hadith. What? 5 mursal hadiths, right? 5 mursal hadith. 5 of them. And today I'm going to focus on one of the 5. One of the 5 that we will find in Sheikh Al-Albani's book.
If I may make a comment, brother. Someone here is saying that the meaning of mursal is basically a sender or a transmitter. No, this is in a passive. This means it was sent. It was sent. It was delivered. It was narrated by someone. So, in other words, there is a messenger in between the companion and the one who narrated it, but we don't know who that person was, technically speaking.
Yes. So, guys, I want you to, if you didn't catch it, I need you to rewatch the live show to understand the difference between, let's say, da'if or rejected, fabricated, or mursal, right? Mursal is, like the brother said, you need to understand what we are trying to say. If you missed it, you need to rewatch the video, and then you will understand what it means. Or just Google it. What is a mursal hadith? And then you'll understand what we're trying to say. So, again, I'm going to choose one of the 5. It's around 5 mursal hadith about the Satanic Verses. So I'm going to focus on one, and you will understand why. Now, Muslims, guys, actually, they idolize their shuyukh. And it's true. They don't investigate if their shuyukh are lying or not. And for example, here's a sheikh, a very, very, very respectful sheikh in Islam. He's a modern sheikh, not like Ibn Taymiyyah, not like Ibn Hajar. He died recently, and maybe you've heard of him. His name is Muhammad Nasruddin Al-Albani. Al-Albani, why is he called Al-Albani? Because he's originally from Albania. Coincidence, right? He's originally from Albania. Yeah.
And he's a big deal. When I was studying in Islamic studies, and especially at Al-Qura, he's a big deal. I mean, he can tell you this hadith is accepted or not, this is sahih. And I always wonder, like, how did this guy who lived in 1300 years later after Muhammad can know what is right and what is wrong, what is acceptable, what is not?
Yeah, but this guy died recently. He's a modern scholar, right? This guy is a new modern scholar, but he actually made his job, guys, out of it to become a scholar of hadith. Al-Albani, his expertise is basically knowing if a hadith is da'if or maybe rejected or sahih or hasan. So basically, that's what he was doing. He was visiting. There was a local bookshop. I read a little bit about his life. There was a small local bookshop, and he used to go there, and he kept going there, and he stayed for hours and hours. He even became almost blind, right? He became almost blind because he was reading so much, and he wrote many books. right? He wrote many books. And one of his books is the book that we're going to talk about. And it's the book about the Satanic Verses, about the Quranic, right? So Muslims today, they use him because became an authority about the hadith, right? He's an hadith expert. Let us put it this way. Do you want to add something, brother?
No, not at all. I'm just showing people basically this, emphasizing his picture for them.
Yeah. So this is, again, Muhammad Nasruddin Al-Albani. And guys, mark my words. Today, I'm going to use him as an example. And I know the guy is dead. He died recently, basically. But I'm going to expose him. And I'm going to end his career. And today is the proof that no Muslim who is watching, the video will reach him. This video of today will reach him. You should never, ever accept Al-Albani as your imam, because today I'm going to prove to everybody that he is a deceiver, simply another liar and a deceiver like most imams and shuyukh. And I'm getting a small echo, brother.
What my brother is saying is that this is another story that has holes in it.
Exactly. So this guy, today, guys, I'm going to prove to you that he's another deceiver. And watch. Muslims, they will say the following. I picked this comment, guys, that I found on the World Wide Web, on the internet, from a Muslim who said, and I quote, Sheikh Al-Albani, this guy that you see here on the screen, Sheikh Al-Albani, the same guy, in his book, Nasb al-Majaniq li Nasf Qissat al-Gharaniq, so that's the book of Albani that he wrote. He says, and he continues, the Muslim saying, Al-Albani, Sheikh Al-Albani extracted all the hadiths concerning this lie. They call the Satanic Verses a lie. Modern Muslims, what do you expect? He extracted all the hadiths concerning this lie, the Satanic Verses, and proved them to be unauthentic, weak, daif, and fake, rejected, right? Fabrication. So according to Albani, and Muslims are proud about him. And by the way, Sister Farida from Farida Response, he's actually a fanboy of Sheikh Al-Albani. And anybody who is following Sheikh Al-Albani, after today's live show becomes a scumbag like him, because you believe in a scumbag, you are a scumbag. So today I'm going to expose him and prove to everybody that he's nothing but a liar and a deceiver. And watch. From now on, I want you to be really focused, guys, because I'm going to mention his book. We're going to take a big dive, like a huge dive, like Yasser Al-Qadi, who likes to, take a huge dive. We're going to do the same act, and we're going
we're going to do a deep dive, all right? We're going to do a deep dive right now.
Yeah, like this one, brother.
When you do a deep dive,
we're going to take a deep dive. Let's see what Sheikh Al-Albani is going to say. And I'm going to prove his hypocrisy, and I'm going to end his career right here, right now. Watch. This is the book of Sheikh Al-Albani, brother. Sheikh Al-Albani, the modern scholar of today, the hero of Islam, right? Sheikh Al-Albani.
And if you don't mind, brother, you don't mind I want to say something. Folks, I did post a link already to someone who was doing a study on this exact book, at least focusing on the Satanic Verses section. And one of our amazing moderators also reposted that link. So just to let everybody know. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. Guys, again, for the people who just joined, Sheikh Al-Albani, he wrote a book addressing the Satanic Verses. So the whole book that you see here on the screen, this is basically the front cover or whatever you want to call it. I took a screenshot. This book is only going to address the Satanic Verses that happened in the life of Muhammad delivering Satanic Verses. And Sheikh Al-Albani wrote this book to basically show everybody, to prove to everybody that the Satanic Verses is a fabrication. That was his whole point behind this book. And this book became famous in the Arab world, right? Famous book, right? By the Sheikh Al-Albani. So this book, again, is written by Muhammad Nasruddin Al-Albani, and the book title is called Nasb al-Majaniq li Nasf Qissat al-Gharaniq. So it's about the Gharaniq, the Satanic Verses. The Gharaniq, the high cranes. Brother? Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, basically, the meaning of the book is the destruction, or basically the missiles that he's going to shoot into this story to destroy the lies. That's the intent behind the title here. So he's definitely was looking for more holes in the narrative.
Exactly. So, guys, what Sheikh Al-Albani is basically doing, he's throwing Ibn Taymiyyah under the bus, a classical scholar. He throws Ibn Hajar under the bus because the classical scholars believed in the authenticity of the satanic verses that happened in the life of Muhammad. They believed that it happened, truly happened. But here, this modern Sheikh Al-Albani, who became famous, especially for the Salafis, right, among the Sunni Muslims, they basically started to idealize him because he is the one to go to. He's the authority. He became the authority to go to when you want to refute or call the satanic verses a fabrication. So his book, he dedicated his book, like the brother just said, to destroy the argument that Muhammad delivered satanic verses. That's the whole point behind his book, right?
That's correct.
So here's, all right. So here is a page, brother. Here is a page from his book. This is page 4, and here is page 5. I put it for you. So basically, I don't want to waste much time about it because it's Arabic, but I will give you a summary what is being said on page 4 and 5. From page 4 and 5 in his book that we just presented to you, a small summary what is being said. We can read in Al-Albani's book that Muslims from Pakistan, right? Muslims from Pakistan came to Sheikh Al-Albani. This has happened, guys. This has truly happened according to Sheikh Al-Albani in his life. Some Muslims came from Pakistan and asked him to address the story of the satanic verses, i.e. Al-Gharaniq. And he explains that he wrote his book, right? This book that we showed you, he wrote his book as argument against Al-Gharaniq, the satanic verses, as proof that the whole story is nothing but a fabrication against the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, right? And to remove, and here's the second point of basically that's why he wrote the book. Point number 2 is, and to remove the doubts in the hearts of the Muslimin, the doubt in the hearts of the Muslimin about the historical authenticity of the satanic verses incident, so that no one, not a Christian like me, not a Christian like Al-Fadi, not the enemies of Islam, again, will bring it up as an argument against the so-called prophethood of the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad. So what basically Al-Albani, his argument is, the reason why he wrote this book is, and I quote, "Inshallah, I will address this claim against our Prophet, and I will prove that it's nothing but a fabrication against our Prophet Muhammad." That's what basically in a nutshell Al-Albani said in his book. Go ahead, brother. You want to add something?
No. I mean, everything is fine.
Okay. So guys, that's basically a summary of what is being said on page 4 and 5. That's the reason he's giving, the reason why he wrote this book, this famous book, right, that exploded basically in the Arab world. And any Muslim who is interested about the satanic verses, he needs to read Al-Albani's book. But you know, how many times do we all tell you guys, when Muslims read, they actually don't read and understand what is being said in a book like this book, and we're going to present to you why much. So again, the book is called what? What is the book name? نصب المجانيق لنصف قصة الغرانيق by Muhammad Nasruddin Al-Albani, right?
And let me repeat it in English now for people so they know how to look for it if they want. It's erecting the catapults for destroying the story of the high flyers. Again, it's erecting the catapults for destroying the story of the high flyers. And I'm going to put it right here also in the chat box for people if they want to go ahead and Google it.
Exactly. Perfect. So guys, please take notes, take screenshots, because the information that we're going to provide to you today will no Muslim will dare to bring up, because it will destroy Muhammad's credibility as a prophet. It will expose Sheikh Al-Albani. And today is a day of days, because I'm going to destroy Sheikh Al-Albani and any Muslim who believes that Sheikh Al-Albani is a respectful Sheikh, because he is nothing but another deceiver, this Sheikh Al-Albani, trying to break up fabrications from himself, lies and deception to cover up the story. And here is why. Let us continue. We showed you pages 4 and 5. Now let us go to page 17, which is the damaging page in the entire book, brother. And I need your help because remember, I don't know Arabic. And I want you to take this journey with me through page 17, brother, because here's the damaging part that I found.
You speak Arabic, you read Arabic, but you do not understand Arabic. So that's the only difference.
That's what they always say, right? You don't know Arabic. Yeah, you don't know Arabic. You make some, everybody sometimes make reading mistakes. It's okay. I'm not God. I can make mistake, God forbid. So I'm not an Arabic scholar. I can make reading mistakes.
Apparently, the Prophet of Islam also didn't know the difference between the Arabic of Jibreel and the Arabic of Satan. So
yeah. I mean, even Allah sometimes make reading mistakes or writing mistakes in His Quran, but it's okay. It's okay if Allah does it, right? Because in the Quran we can find tons and tons of grammatical and spelling mistakes. But if Rob Christian or Christian Prince make sometimes reading mistake, we cannot do that. But Allah and His Prophet, it's okay because Muhammad was a jahil, he was an illiterate, but no problem. Anyway, let's continue, brother. And I want you, brother, to help me translate because remember I don't know Arabic. So can you read what is being said on this page and tell everybody what it means?
So you want me to read just the underlined stuff?
Yeah, here's part of the Quran, right? And then here's Sheikh. This is Sheikh Al-Albani, guys. And remember, this entire book is about the Satanic Verses. And he's going to talk about the Isnad, right? The Isnad of the Hadith. The one of the Mursals, right? Remember, there are around, again, guys, if you just joined, there are around 5 Mursal Hadith. 5 Mursal Hadith about the Satanic Verses. And he's going to address one of them. And he's going to talk about the guy who is inside the chain. So, brother, read with us. And I want you to pay attention, brother, to Al-Khatib Al-Khatib Al-Baghdadi and Al-Achi. Those 2 persons are really important to focus, to pay attention what is being said in the text. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. So can you give the reference to the first verse for people so they know which surah this came from?
Yeah, it says, I think this is page 22, ayah 52, right? وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ. Yeah. Again,
exactly.
this is the chapter. This is the
right
ayah
here.
we mentioned
See, everybody,
earlier.
it's Surah Al-Hajj. That's where it's coming from. So I'm reading about this particular verse right now. I just wanted him to show it to you because this was the response that supposedly was revealed to Muhammad because of chapter 53, verses 19 to 21, the so-called Satanic Verses debacle. Okay?
Yes.
So now we're reading about chapter 22 right now, that verse that you just saw.
Yeah. And
So,
the brother is going to help me. And just sorry, brother. Again, this is the ayah, chapter 22, ayah 52. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ مِنْ رَسُولٍ وَلَا نَبِيٍّ إِلَّا إِذَا تمنى ألقى الشيطان في أمنيته. Right?
So
and إلى آخر الآية, right? Yeah.
Show it to them in English one more time because I want them to see it. So here's what it says. All the noble messengers or prophets whom we sent before you, speaking to Muhammad, right? That whenever they recited a message, basically wahi, verses that came to them, Satan included a bit from his own speech into this recitation. That's what it is. So Allah comes back and clean the mess, literally. That's what he did. So he kind of like abrogated, obliterate, removes. So somehow Allah allows Satan to overpower his message. And then he's like, oops, I need to come back now and fix it. Yeah, that's an amazing God.
And at the same time, exactly. And at the same time, Allah contradicts himself in another ayah because in chapter 15, he says that Satan has no power over Muhammad. Satan has no power over any prophet, any servant. So Allah kept contradicting himself. But what else is new? So, brother, let us read the page number 17 in the book of Al-Albani. Guys, this is the book of Al-Albani. I want you to be really focused. Our brother is going to read for us, and he's going to translate. Go ahead, brother.
So, based on that verse, the person is saying, the one who's writing this Arabic says, I said, this isnad comes from a trustworthy men, and all of them from the men of this particular discipline. By the way, there is a science of men, believe it or not. And that's how Muslims can verify if this narrator is trustworthy or not. So that's what he's referring to. Except Ibn Arara. Ibn Arara. ليس فيهم, there is nothing in them who desires basically to see in him, see whatever is good in him, except Abi Bakr Muhammad bin Ali al-Maqri al-Baghdadi. Okay? وَقَدْ أَوْرَدَهُ, meaning, and narrated it Al-Khatib. Narrated.
Okay, who is Al-Khatib? Who is Al-Khatib, brother? That's Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi, right? Khatib al-Baghdadi, the one who wrote Tarikh al-Baghdad. Tarikh Baghdad, right? Tarikh Baghdad.
Yeah, the history of Baghdad. He's
a giant, right? Can you explain to the audience, brother, why it's so important? Why is this guy so important? Tarikh al-Baghdad, Tarikh Baghdad.
Well, I mean, these guys is almost like in a class of their own. You have Al-Khatib, you have Al-Tabari, you have Al-Qurtubi, you have, these guys were well attested for their knowledge, for their writings, in this case, writing a history, and that's extremely important. And Baghdad is a big deal for the Abbasid, of course, dynasty, and so on and so forth. And it was during that time of the Abbasids, everything that began to take shape and form of being written down, technically speaking. So
exactly. So he's mentioning Al-Khatib, right?
Right.
He's mentioning him, and he is very important, guys. I want you to basically memorize two names, Al-Khatib, and the other guy is Al-Achi, that we're going to see here under. So continue, brother. And guys, I need you to focus. Continue and please translate.
Yeah. So then it proceeds here to say, Muhammad bin Ali bin al-Hasan Abu Bakr al-Muqri' Haddatha, he stated or narrated from Mahmud ibn Khaddash, and from Muhammad ibn Amr, and from Ibn Abi Mad'ur, and they narrated from him, meaning Ahmad ibn Kamil al-Qadi, and from Muhammad ibn Ahmad ibn Yahya al-Achi. This is the one that my brother wants to focus on.
Guys, and from now on, guys, the whole story is about this guy, Al-Achi. Muhammad bin Ahmad bin Yahya al-Achi. This guy is the main problem, the main cause, basically, in the chain, right, in the Senate. So here Al-Albani, guys, is going to talk about Al-Achi. Al-Achi is the main problem for the Satanic Verses in this Mursal Hadith. So, brother, I want the audience to focus here. Guys, basically what Sheikh Al-Albani is going to do, Sheikh Al-Albani in his book on this page 17, he's going to talk about Al-Achi. And he already mentioned, and he's going to force words in the mouth of Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi, right? He's going to force words, what he did not say, and I'm going to prove it. And he's going to lie about Al-Achi, who is in the chain, in the Senate. Continue, brother.
Yeah, then it says, then he brought to him one hadith, and it was mentioned by someone who has this title, Abi Harb, the father of war. And then he says, I do not know really if it was his own kind of like nickname, another nickname for him, or his name was corrupted when it was being copied or printed. Then he proceeded.
So, brother, just a second. Just a second, brother. Guys, so basically what Al-Albani is saying in his book, he says, we don't know who Al-Achi is, right? That's what he basically is saying. Is he trustworthy? Is he a liar? Is he a fabricator? Is he a good guy? We don't know. He's basically a John Doe. That's what it's basically saying. Continue, brother.
Yeah, so I just want to clarify to people, here's what's going on. They tend usually, when they want to change a narrative, they start picking and choosing and looking just for one hole and say,
exactly.
We don't know who Al-Achi is. I mean, it's possible that it's a different person now. Amazing. These things were accepted for hundreds of years, but the minute you start bringing your hammer on it, Somehow everything comes loose. That's amazing.
Yeah.
All
So,
right,
brother,
so he said,
yeah.
Go
Let
ahead.
us focus on Al-Achi and let us see more what is being said by Sheikh Al-Albani. This is Sheikh Al-Albani talking, right, in his book. Let us see what he's going to say about Al-Achi, and I'm going to use, guys, Sheikh Al-Albani dug a huge hole for himself, a huge hole, and I am going to push him inside the hole and bury him today. I'm going to bury Sheikh Al-Albani by his own claim, using his own claim against him in the court of law, proving that he's a scumbag, a liar and deceiver who fabricates lies, forcing words in the mouth of Al-Khatib and lying about Al-Achi. Watch, guys. Continue, bro.
So Al-Albani is saying, he doesn't know this name. It could have been that it's a corrupt name. Then he says, he basically stated or storied Al-Khatib from Al-Achi, meaning Al-Khatib narrated or reported to us from this guy, Al-Achi, that he says died in the year 300.
300.
Yeah, so 300 Hijri, I'm sure that's what he means, 300 after the time of Muhammad, and did not mention any problems or corrections. So he is an unknown, and he is the problem of this.
But wait, brother. So what is Al-Achi? What is Al-Achi? What is Al-Achi? What is he, according to Sheikh Al-Albani?
Unknown.
He's a John Doe. He's an unknown guy.
Yes,
so this is why. So basically, this is the reason why Al-Achi is the reason why the Isnad is not to be trusted. It's a fabrication. That's the whole idea.
Exactly.
That's the whole point of Sheikh Al-Albani. So he's saying we don't know who Al-Achi is. He's a John Doe. He's anonymous. We don't know who he is. He's unknown. So that's why we have to throw away this hadith and mark it as a mursal hadith, fabricated hadith. That's the whole point. And continue reading, brother, and especially the last part.
I want to say something here, Rob, and I think people need to really pay close attention to what's going on. Al-Albani is pointing to you something that we use all the time as apologists, especially concerning the origin of Islam and hadith, and my brother here does the same. He said he died 300 years after the time of Muhammad. You know where he's going with this, right? He's saying, oh, he didn't live at the time of Muhammad. Well, thank you, Al-Albani, because my brother here have done a lot of videos. In fact, he and I will do more, Lord willing, about no other than Hafs, who didn't even exist at the time of Muhammad, didn't live at the time of Muhammad, who has a lot of problems when it came to his character. And myself and Jay also did a number of shows about the Qiraat conundrum. And also, you have Ibn Ishaq, who wrote 130 years after the time of Muhammad, and most of his biography is lost. Then you have Ibn Hisham, 180 years after the time of Muhammad, and most of his biography was fabricated by the admission of many of Muslims, his contemporary. Then you have Al-Bukhari, 240 years after the time of Muhammad. Then you have Al-Tabari, 300 plus years later. Then you have Ibn Kathir, that many love to use, except whenever we put him in a corner, like yesterday with this guy that we had on the show, me and Sam. Somehow Ibn Kathir was okay one time, not okay the other. 700 plus years later. Ibn Taymiyyah, almost another 600, 700 years later. What an amazing argument, that when we say these guys wrote later, everybody laughs at it. But now Al-Albani is not laughing. He's making a good argument about the fact that he was 300 years later. Yeah.
And brother, here's the problem, and especially the last part of the highlighted part on this page 17. And I see people talk about all kind of things in the chat. Please focus. We are doing huge damage. We are exposing Sheikh Al-Albani. I'm going to bury him in the same hole that he dug for himself. I'm going to push him in and cover him with sand. And here is why. Because someone like him who made his job, right? Who made his job to call things that historical scholars or basically classical scholars used to believe in, right? They used to believe in the Satanic Verses, but this modern guy came and said, no, it's a fabrication. Watch. Brother, read this last part and translate from Wahua.
So he says, and this Albani saying, speaking about Al-Achi, he says, and he is, and I'm going to say it in Arabic, وَهُوَ عِلَّةُ هَذَا الْإِسْنَادِ الْمَوْصُولِ. He is the problem in this continued narration.
Wow. Can you please repeat that, and I want everybody to listen carefully, because this is the point of my whole argument against Sheikh Al-Albani and against the lie that they say it's a fabrication. The Satanic Verses is a fabrication.
Yeah,
Why?
brother,
Please again. Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Koredi. Koredi, you and I need to connect, bro. I'm sorry we haven't been able to do so, but we definitely need to connect. So thank you so much for making time for us here. I just wanted to catch him before he left.
Yeah.
So I'm going to repeat it again. وهو علة هذا الإسناد الموصول. The word علة, problem, basically. He, meaning Al-Achi, is the problem for this chain of narration.
Exactly. So he is the problem. He is the one. That's why, because of him, we need to reject and call the Satanic Verses of this particular isnad, we have to call it fabrication. So Sheikh Al-Albani is he's throwing Al-Achi and he's throwing Al-Khatib under the bus, right? To just, sugarcoat this disaster, which is the historical Satanic Verses incident in the life of Muhammad. So he's saying he is the problem. Al-Achi is the problem in the chain, basically, right, brother? Can you confirm?
Yeah. And here's the problem, brother. Amazingly, Al-Albani, 1300 years later, he can decide if the guy who was 300 years closer to Muhammad was good or not good, valid or not valid, authentic or not authentic. What a hypocrisy.
Exactly. So guys, just to summarize what Sheikh Al-Albani said on page 17. And guys, look how much time I'm putting in this, in my slides, just to expose these liars and deceivers like Sheikh Al-Albani, like this deceiver, right? For everybody to see, because we are here, we are spending time to help those Muslims out of this cult. We cannot save them because only God can, but we can help them, showing them what kind of liars their heroes and their shuyukh are today, who are too embarrassed, simply too embarrassed, like Sheikh Al-Albani, that Muhammad actually did deliver Satanic Verses. Here's the summary, guys, on page 17 of his book, Nasb al-Majaniq li Nasb Qissat al-Gharaniq. That's the book title of Sheikh Al-Albani. And my summary, Al-Albani in his book is saying that Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi, that's his number one claim, mentioned or talked about Al-Achi, as we read, and as the brother translated for you. Al-Achi died in the year 300. And he did not say, Al-Khatib did not say the hadith is da'if or sahih, and he did not say that he's a fabricator about Al-Achi or a liar or trustworthy person. No, he did not say anything about him. That's the number one claim. Guys, and I want you to focus. He's forcing words in the mouth of Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi, right? Who wrote Tarikh Baghdad. Highly respected scholar in Islam, right? So that's the claim number one from Sheikh Al-Albani. So he's the one making the claims. Claim number two, if we continue reading, the problem in the chain of this hadith is Muhammad bin Ahmad bin Yahya Al-Achi. So he's calling him Allatu, right? You heard the brother reading the Arabic. He is the cause. He's the problem. That's the claim number two. So he's throwing Al-Achi under the bus and he's forcing words in the mouth of Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi, who wrote Tarikh Baghdad, that book. And he continues saying, Al-Albani himself, the liar and deceiver, claims the following. He claims that this guy, Al-Achi, is a John Doe. And I put, people who know me, I like sometimes to put jokes in between. So he calls him basically a John Doe. No one knows who he is. Al-Albani is the one making this claim on page 17 of his book, as we explained to you. The person behind the whole Satanic Verses report hadith in this chain is an unknown guy, basically. That's the claim of Sheikh Al-Albani. So in other words, the story about Al-Gharaniq is a fabrication, da'if, according to Al-Albani, because the one narrating the hadith is a John Doe, an unknown guy. And who is that guy? Is Al-Achi.
Let's use logic.
Right?
Somehow the rest of the chain was okay, except when we got to this guy, and because it's mursal. So if that was a fabrication, don't you think the person who fabricated it could have just added a name of one of the companions, Abu Huraira, Omar.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, is it that hard really to fabricate? I mean, even Bukhari admitted that there were hadith collections that there were fabrications, and he did not include them in his own collection. So what's the
Yeah.
big deal?
Yeah. Guys, here's the way to destroy and bury Sheikh Al-Albani's lies and deception. And this is why, and today's live show, guys, is a lesson to any Muslim, a lesson to any Christian. Never ever trust a modern sheikh, especially like Al-Albani. When they say something, they need to lie to cover up the disaster that Muhammad created in Islam, and in this case, the Satanic Verses. And I'm going to destroy him today because he made at least 2 claims, right? We showed you the claims. He's forcing words inside the mouth of Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi, who wrote Tarikh Baghdad. That's claim number 1. And claim number 2, he is throwing Al-Achi under the bus just for the sake of argument that the Satanic Verses is a fabrication. He's calling him an unknown guy, a John Doe, right? And someone is saying a John Doe like like Abdullah, supposedly the father of Muhammad. Yes, that kind of John Doe. So let us do our homework which the Muslims do not do. I didn't do my homework, ya Muslimin. Did you do your homework?
Did you
I'm
use?
sure you did.
Are you using Google? May peace be upon it.
Yes, it's okay to Prophet Google, peace be upon him, at least answers, and he is helping us doing our homework, which
I
you
tell
Muslims
people,
don't do.
I mean, I tell him, all you have to do is ask Siri, may peace be upon her, to Google for you, and she will find you magic stuff.
Guys, that's a good one. So see, you see here in front of you, brother. Here's a website that I went through to understand who is this Al-Achi. Is he a truly an anonymous guy? Is he a John Doe, as Sheikh Al-Albani claims? Is Sheikh Al-Albani lying maybe? Is he lying to save the Ummah from drowning? Right? To try to cover up those holes, those giant holes? To stuff them with lies so that the boat will not sink further? Watch, guys. Watch how I'm going to bury, for the glory of Christ, watch how I'm going to bury Sheikh Al-Albani. He and his lies in that same hole that he dug for himself. Sheikh Al-Albani created a disaster for himself and the Ummah. Watch. Brother, can you read on the screen what it says here?
Yes. Information concerning the narrator. And then it says, concerning the life of the narrator, the name is Muhammad bin, by the way, means the son of, Muhammad bin Ahmad bin Yahya bin Abdullah bin Ismail, who's also known as Muhammad bin Ahmad Al-Achi.
Oh, the same guy, Al-Achi, right?
Yep.
Guys, we're going to basically dissect. We're going to do some homework about who Al-Achi is.
And he's known, if I may keep reading, he's known as Abu Ali, meaning the father of Ali. That's standard, by the way, in the Middle East. If you have a son, they'll call you by the name of your oldest. And sometimes people don't have even sons, and they somehow pick that kind of like nickname, but most likely that's the name of his son. Look what it says. So what is his nasab, meaning, title, heritage? Family basically name is Al-Achi al-Baghdadi, which means he was in Baghdad. So definitely Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi would know about someone from his own town.
Did you catch it? Now the puzzle pieces are fitting their places. From now on, we're going to bury Sheikh Al-Albani, he and his lies. Watch. Now here comes the damaging part. Brother, read the next part.
The next part that is underlined with red, it says Ar-Rutba, meaning like his status.
Status, guys, the status of Al-Achi himself. What does it say?
Yeah, status of this particular narrator, according to the studies that were done by him. His classification, it's almost like when you say hadith sahih or da'if. Now, what do you say about this narrator? Here's what it says. Thiqah ma'moon, trustworthy and safe. Trustworthy and reliable.
Allahu Akbar! So guys, go to any website like this. and you'll see that Al-Achi is a trustworthy. We know who he is. We know even his kunya. We know his last name. We know where he's from. We know he's from Baghdad. We know that he's trustworthy. He's not an unknown. He's not unknown, as Sheikh Al-Albani said. Bam! So again, if we translate, just maybe your option is lying. Maybe Brother Al-Fadi is not translating correctly. Look what it says on the screen. Again, brother, what does it say?
Thiqa, ma'moon, safe, trustworthy, reliable, all these translations.
Trustworthy. So Al-Achi is a trustworthy. But wait, Sheikh Al-Albani on page 17 called him what? He called him unknown. He called him the problem in the chain because we don't know who he is. He's anonymous, right? That's what Sheikh Al-Albani said. So in other words, guys, Al-Achi turns out to be a trustworthy, well-known guy in Islam. Wow! Do you see how I just destroyed Sheikh Al-Albani, guys? Do you see how I just destroyed Sheikh Al-Albani? Brother, do you want to add something just to clarify?
Not at all, brother. I mean, it's a classic contradiction style that you see, especially lately, folks. You have the traditional Muslims who, by the way, I want to be very, very clear here. Based on our studies and most recent discoveries, I can assure you of this. Earlier Muslims are more trustworthy, and you can rely on their sources and their material because they were straightforward, open-minded. They never actually attempted to do anything aside from what is reality. Here's what I mean. If there was a problem in narrating the Quran, they will say it. If there is a problem in pronouncing something, they will state it for you. If there is a disagreement on translating or interpreting something, they will state it. Modern Muslims now are trying to rewrite history, and that's the sad reality.
Yeah. So guys, we just destroyed Sheikh Al-Albani because Sheikh Al-Albani threw Al-Achi under the bus, saying that he is the problem in the chain. He is anonymous. We don't know who he is. We don't know if he's trustworthy, etc. And he's forcing words in the mouth of who? Al-Khatib Al-Baghdadi. He is calling Al-Khatib Al-Baghdadi a liar and deceiver too. Oh boy. Now here is my evidence number 2 to bury Sheikh Al-Albani even further, right? Watch. This is the book of who, brother?
This is basically Tarikh Baghdad. Tarikh Baghdad, which is Al-Khatib. Al-Khatib Al-Baghdadi.
Yeah. Guys, how to prove better than just to go to the book of the guy, guy that he mentioned.
Yeah, let me say this. This is what's so interesting. The title for Al-Baghdadi is this, Al-Imam, which is a big deal. That means you are really a scholar. Al-Hafiz, you know why? He memorizes things. So somehow Al-Albani had a problem with his memory. Wow, that's amazing.
Wow. So guys, I'm going to go to the book, and it's on the screen for you, right? I'm going to go with you to the book of Al-Khatib Al-Baghdadi. We're going to go through his book, Tarikh Baghdad, highly famous in Islam, volume 1. It's on the screen, right? This is Tarikh, again, Tarikh Baghdad by Al-Khatib, right? Al-Hafiz, the giant of giants, Al-Khatib Al-Baghdadi. Let me show you how Al-Khatib Al-Baghdadi is going to destroy Sheikh Al-Albani with me and prove that Al-Achi is a reliable guy. Again, we already proved it, but we're going to prove it from a second source, in this case, Tarikh Baghdad. And brother, I want you to translate. Here is the page, the same page from the book Tarikh Baghdad by Al-Khatib Al-Baghdadi. Page number 396. 396 in the Arabic. Sorry, guys, the book is not translated. I think it's not translated because I could not find it in English. So, brother, I want you to read for me and translate and mention all the names that we can find on this page and read and translate from now on from here, brother. This is Al-Khatib. This is Al-Khatib in his book, Al-Khatib Al-Baghdadi. Watch.
Yeah. So here it's this section of the book 342, the one that is underlined, folks. It says, Muhammad ibn Ahmad ibn Yahya ibn Abdullah ibn Ismail Abu Ali al-Bazzaz al-Achi.
Who? Al-Achi.
The same guy.
Al-Achi, same guy. So what is Al-Khatib? What is Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi is going to say about him? Watch, guys.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start translating here, folks. I'm translating on a
focus, guys. Yeah, focus.
Yeah.
Please.
So Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Firyani heard, and also Abu Ya'la al-Musali from Mosul, basically, and Muhammad ibn Salih ibn Darih al-Akbari, and Muhammad ibn Jarir al-Tabari. Big deal.
Al-Tabari himself, the creme de la creme, right? The tafsir daddy of tafsir daddies, exactly, that guy.
Yeah, so I'm going to skip some of the names, and then Muhammad ibn Muhammad al-Baghindi, and you keep going all the way to Abu Bakr ibn Dawood as-Sijistani.
Who is that
ibn
guy?
Dawood as-Sijistani is extremely important. I'm doing studies right now in the manuscripts of the Quran, and this guy wrote about the qira'at, the various Qurans, technically speaking.
It's the same guy who wrote Sunan Abi Dawud.
That's
that
right.
Guy. That guy. That Ibn Dawood, right? That guy who wrote Sunan Abi Dawud. So
so
continue.
So his son Ibn Abi Dawood is a big deal for Quranic manuscripts. So that's what I wanted to say.
Yes.
So حدثنا عنه, meaning stated to us or narrated to us from Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahid wal Hasan, and keep going until you die reading.
Yeah.
And then it says, and then and I asked Al-Khalal concerning him, meaning concerning Al-Achi. This is what he says.
Yes,
Al-Achi is trustworthy. So here's what's going on. Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi did his homework. That's what he's saying.
Yes. So guys, do you see how Sheikh Al-Albani just lied about Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi? He lied about Al-Achi because Al-Achi seems that all these people know him. And right here, a Sijistani, a giant, a Tabari, all of them, they know him, and they call him who? What do they call him again, brother?
Thiqah, trustworthy.
He is trustworthy. Turns out that Sheikh Al-Albani is nothing but a liar, a deceiver, who wrote a book, right? Who wrote his book just to lie. He wrote just to lie. He's nothing but a hypocrite, a liar and deceiver, because he wants to lie about the authenticity, right, of the Satanic Verses incident that truly happened in the life of Muhammad. So in the end, Sheikh Al-Albani is nothing but a liar and deceiver who lied about the Isnad. It seems that the guy in the Isnad turns out to be, according to Tarikh Baghdad, the book, and the writer of the book, Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi, turns out that this guy is highly trustworthy. Giants call him trustworthy. So they know who he is. He is to be trusted. So it turns out that the Isnad that goes back to the Satanic Verses, turns out that it's Sahih. Bam! And that's how to expose Sheikh Al-Albani and destroy him for everybody to see, guys. That's how to do it. So do you see how modern scholars, like this liar, this deceiver, this scambag, this scammer that you see on the screen, Muhammad Nasruddin Al-Albani, modern scholars came to lie because they are simply too embarrassed. How is it possible? How can we accept that Muhammad delivered Satanic Verses? So let us invent some fabrications. Let us write some books, fabricate books, lies in our books, like Sheikh Al-Albani, to lie about Islam, to lie about the Prophet of Islam. Because if Muhammad would have been alive today, he would have not objected against the Satanic Verses. Brother, what do you want to say after this spanking of Sheikh Al-Albani today?
There is nothing really to say. All we did here today is just a very simple approach, and that's to show how later Islamic scholar rewrite history. Then we need to understand why our Muslim friends keep evolving their interpretation, or as David Wood, may peace be upon him, says, the miracle of reinterpretation. That's
the miracle of
exactly what's going on.
reinterpretation. Exactly. So you see, Sheikh Al-Albani turns out to be a liar and deceiver because the classical scholars like Ibn Taymiyyah, Sheikh al-Islam, Ibn Taymiyyah, they did accept that the Satanic Verses was a historical fact. The Satanic Verses is a historical fact, but modern day scholars like this scumbag, Sheikh Al-Albani, is nothing but a liar and deceiver. And that's how the cookie crumbles, guys. This is how to bury this liar, this deceiver, who made his book famous in the Muslim Sunni world, that, brother, the Satanic Verses incident is nothing but a fabrication. No, today we proved him wrong. We buried him. And you see, whenever these shuyukh, whenever these modern scholars write books, they create another disaster because they have to protect the ummah from sinking. And remember what Sheikh, the famous Sheikh from Canada said: a tsunami, an avalanche is coming our way, and it will knock us over. That guy, right? That guy. And he knows why. Because when you do your homework, ya Muslimin, we do not hate you. When we do your homework that you yourself do not know, we will find such damaging things, damaging facts about your modern scholars who need to lie and cover up the historical facts. Muhammad truly did deliver Satanic Verses, and today's live show should cause a huge chain reaction. And I want everybody who is watching to share this live show, to let it go viral, because this video just destroyed Sheikh Al-Albani and will destroy any modern sheikh who need to lie about the historicity of the Satanic Verses. Thank you, brother. Thank you for allowing me.
You want me to stop the sharing?
Yeah.
All right. So that was fantastic, my brother. As always, solid research. My job is to always help my brothers here in terms of providing support to the authenticity of the research, confirmation to the research, because we know why. I mean, our Muslim friends going to start attacking him, or attack Jay, or attack Sam, or attack. So while I know these things, I love for my brother to be the one who is sharing it, because I want to show also the rest of you that it is doable if you put your mind into it and you can find the information. I get it that people get discouraged that it's in Arabic. You know what? We need a lot of people to do research on things like this, to translate things like this. So pray for us. It's one of my heart's desire is to raise enough funding to take sources like this and have some entities translating for us at a very fast speed so that we can have a lot of these resources. So it is not easy, but we need to do it because we want these resources to be available to all of you. I get your frustration. Many of you were saying, well, it's in Arabic, it's no good to us. I'm sorry. It's sad state of affair. I get it. But that's why we do these shows for you folks, because we want to help you. That's why my brother labors in showing you the Arabic and then translating it. Why? Because we know we're going to get accused. Oh, that's the Arabic never said that. Well, okay, you were showing you the Arabic. Now what are you going to say about it?
Exactly.
And that's, you know, folks, I want to share another sad reality. Not all Muslims know the Arabic that we just shared anyway. So they're in the same boat like you.
Exactly. Yeah. And you see, guys, today's live show is another proof. Without lies of the Muslim scholars, especially the modern scholars, Islam dies. They need to write books, fabricate lies in their books, trying to cover up the disasters that their fake Prophet Muhammad created for them. The Satanic Verses did happen. It is a historical fact. But today's scholars need to lie about it, need to call it fabrication, because simply it gives them a huge disaster, right? Because how can the final prophet, how can Muhammad, the seal of all the prophets, fell for the tricks of Satan, delivering Satanic Verses to the pagans of Quraysh? How is it possible, right?
Exactly. And by the way, Corretti is mentioning that it was Sheikh Bilal Phillips who said that an avalanche is coming. And Corretti, you know, you showed us a book about understanding the historical Jesus. So I bought the book. You owe me money, bro. I spend money because you said that that book is good. So by Daryl Bach. I'm just kidding, Korede. So all that to say is Korede is an amazing apologist, by the way, from Nigeria. Lord bless his heart. We were talking about you the other day, me and Jay. So I'm sure your ears were basically ringing. So, brother, what's the next project? We want to do more and more of this, obviously, but I want to bring you, like I said, in the fall to do a video series. But what's the next project for you and your channel? And what are the things that hopefully we can come back and talk about? I like the idea of talking about the second satanic incident in chapter 30, Surah Al-Rum.
Yes, we can bring that up. Actually, guys, for the people who do not know, brother Al-Fadi and I would have made a live show today about totally something else. But I sent a message to our brother here. I told him I found new material about the Satanic Verses, and I really need to present it. And you see, it's amazing. Actually, a shout out to brother Sam Shamoun, because Muslims think that Sam Shamoun and I are enemies or something. No, brother Sam Shamoun is a dear brother of mine, and he's actually the one who motivated me to do research, to take a huge dive, like Yasser Qadi, right? Take a huge dive in the Islamic Arabic books to find these disasters. So he is the one who motivated me. I had a recent conversation with him on Skype, and he told me to go to Ibn Taymiyyah and go to Ibn Hajar and so on. But today, you see, today I didn't even need those two giants to expose modern scholars like Sheikh Al-Albani. Today, I ended Sheikh Al-Albani's career and proved to everybody, to any Christian, to any Muslim, to any atheist who's watching, that Sheikh Al-Albani is nothing but a liar, a deceiver, who needs to cover up and lie about the true, authentic story, which is the Satanic Verses incident in the life of Muhammad. Thank you for having me, brother. By the way, I sent the link. I sent the link that you can share. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I posted for everybody.
If you want to download, yeah.
So next time we'll do the Tawheed. So we have two projects, you and I at least, to do the Tawheed, dilemma again, and the oneness of God and the word Ahad and many other things. And then we want to revisit the second satanic one, because I don't think anyone have done an extensive work on it yet. So let's be the pioneers on that. And then you and I can plan other things. But then in the fall, which is in about 2 months from now, Lord willing, I would love to have you at least join us remotely in our studios, because we're doing some modifications in there to allow people to join us remotely, but to appear as if you are with us at the same time, because we want to do a lot of this work, brother, and we want to, you're a blessing to the kingdom, and we want people to know about you, your work. And at the same time, this is the least we can do, is to do things like this and give these videos back to you as well, because you are free to always share it on your own channel. This is one of the things, folks, that we like to do with our speakers, is not only we like them to join us and we do video series, but we want them to gladly download and even repost and publish those videos in their own channel. At the end of the day, it's not for us, it's for everyone to benefit from. Last words, brother.
Yeah. Again, I see some people in the live chat are asking about Surah Al-Rum. So basically, the less known incident. This basically, I showed everybody. Maybe I can just again, brother, before we wrap this up, can I share my screen again for the second time, if that's possible?
You can, but we want to do a show on it. So just do a teaser.
Right, I'm not
now,
going to. Yeah, no teasers. Guys,
let's make it a priority. So next time, you and I connect and see when can you come back, and let's do that one.
Sure. So basically, we're going to talk about. Let's see, where did I put it? Do you see the screen, guys? I hope the screen is showing.
Not yet, brother.
Okay.
When you share it, I'll post it.
Yeah, I think let's see, share screen. Okay. So this is the for the people, just a small introduction.
So I
about
added
what
it
we're
now.
going to
Everybody can see it.
So guys, again, and I already talked about it in the beginning of our live show. There are two major incidents that I myself found, right? Especially the second one. So basically, the most famous one is, as you know, Surah An-Najm that happened, right? Muhammad was reciting Surah An-Najm, and then Satan comes in between and delivers the satanic verses on the tongue of Muhammad, and then Muhammad gives it to the pagan Quraysh. But many people don't know about Surah Al-Rum. So I'm not going to talk about it today. I'm not going to show you slides, because I have information about the more known satanic incident in the life of Muhammad. That's Surah Al-Rum. And we're going to talk about it another time, brother.
And the purpose, of course, is very simple. Yasser Qadi, who was honest enough to say that there were holes in the narrative, our job is to widen these holes. That's all we're doing. You know, when you start widening the holes, these holes connect and become a big hole. Which, by the way, in honor of Yasser Qadi's hole in the narrative, myself and a guest will be talking about that at the anniversary, which is the 8th of June, next Tuesday. So you don't want to miss that, folks, because we definitely want to keep this memory alive for as long as we can. Okay, my brother. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everything that you do. We appreciate you. And obviously, we want people to always subscribe to your channel. What is the name of your channel, just in case people don't know?
You just can use the search engine, search for Rob Christian, and you will find me.
Yeah. Subscribe to his channel, please. Support his ministry. The brother sticks his neck out there and does a lot of things, despite the fact that there is a huge risk on his life. No wonder he doesn't like to show his face, and we support that because we do not want a warrior like him to be harmed or attacked because of the amazing work that he's doing. So be praying for him all the time, and know he's one of the amazing warriors in our team, meaning the team that we're all in, and the Lord is our leader, of course. So thank you so much, brother, for all the work that you do. I am honored that you always come to bless us with this knowledge in our channel, and hopefully people will be blessed by it as well.
Thank you. Thank you again for having me, dear brother Al-Fadi. God bless your ministry, your family, your loved ones, and everyone who was here, the audience, admins who are always doing an amazing job. Guys, please allow this video to go viral. Share it everywhere, because a lot of Muslims are putting their salvation and their souls on the line because of people like Sheikh Al-Albani, who we destroy today without any mercy, because such people, such deceivers deserve no respect, and they must be exposed for everybody to see. And we are only here because we love the Muslims. That's why we are doing this. We don't hate you Muslims, please. We love you. You are our brothers and sisters in humanity. Please don't allow any modern scholar to deceive you, or your fake prophet who became, at that day, at that moment, he became the prophet of Satan when he delivered the Satanic verse. It's sahih. It's not da'if. Today, we prove that. Please download our videos, and thank you for having me again, brother. God bless you.
Amen. And I just was in wrapping. Next week, we're going to have 2 shows at least, plus possibly Sam Shamon and I will do our usual Q&A live. And one will be to commemorate the holes in the narrative. Another one with Jay Smith, because me and Jay, during the week of the 16th and the 17th of June, we will be doing shows together in the studio. So we will be doing some live shows as well. We're going to give you a teaser about the stuff that we are going to talk about. So these are at least the 2 things that I will be addressing. And then we're working towards having a lineup of amazing guest speakers like my brother here to join us as well. So thank you again, brother. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to our moderators. This is Al-Fadi, over and out. God bless.